of all the drama, of all the controversy, of all the magic moments in Formula One in 2021, it comes down to this. And at this moment, it looks like it's going to go the way of Max Verstappen. Mercedes not happy. Red Bull will be delighted. They have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
Yes! Holy God Almighty! What an epic finale to an epic season! In the paddock F1, Greeny and the Cheese. That was David Croft's call on Sky Sports, courtesy of Formula1.com. We are in the United Arab Emirates, in the capital city of Abu Dhabi, recently named the safest city in the world. Did you know that, sir? How about them apples?
No idea.
And while you're there,
I
maybe
thought
you
it was
want to
Philly.
take a little. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely not Philly. Definitely not Philly. And while you're there, you might want to take a little desert safari. Or it gets a little hot out there in the desert, so maybe you want to go to Yas Water World Abu Dhabi, a water park that has 45 rides, slides, and other attractions. Or my personal favorite, as always, when I go, this is the place I gotta go. Ferrari World, yes. But this is no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we are at the reprofiled Yas Marina circuit. 16 corners, 5 less than last year. Lap time 15 seconds faster. Full throttle for 75% of your lap. And oh man, did we see an epic finale to an epic season. First lap, Max pushes Lewis off at turn 6. Later in the race, Perez driving like an absolute animal, holding up Lewis to let Max close back in. Lewis pulls back away. There's a safety car comes out late, setting up controversy as F1 violates its own rules, lets some lap cars pass, then ends the safety car, setting up a one-lap battle between Max and Lewis. Max makes the pass at turn 5, holding off Lewis to win the championship. Christian Horner's crying. Total Wolf is spitting fire. We're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Cheese. Wow, indeed. What a crazy ending to a crazy season. Like I said a few weeks ago, was a great, epic, legendary. You could add any words, any superlatives you want in there, but the bottom line is it will be controversial for a very, very long time. And F1 has never shied away from controversy ever before. Why should it shy away now? It will be very controversial. As I said to you and those of us who, follow different sports all around the world, there is always that moment, especially in the championship, when everything is so put under a microscope, right? Where every move is put under a microscope, where you'll remember it for a much longer period of time. And it's interesting in these situations that they're rare in F1, right? In football, both American and the rest of the world, there's a championship game, right? There's a final. There's Team A versus Team B. In racing, you don't have that. You have cumulative throughout the season. So the accumulation throughout the season puts you in a situation where if you want to win the championship, you could win that in August, September. Lewis is no stranger to winning titles in September or October, for real. Up a couple hundred points the last couple seasons, or 100 plus points, going into the fall. So we wanted a race to the end. We got a race to the end. 1,381 laps run, and they were dead tied. They needed one more. So that's your one more lap there for the season. And it doesn't get much better than that. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. A lot happened. The tinfoil hats are on all across the world. The world. put those tinfoil hats on, because the stuff we've heard over the last 30 or so hours since the race has been over. We're here a little bit later than normal, doing a Monday show for us, usually on Sunday night. We're doing it Monday today, so we got extra time to hear extra crazy, all the tabloids. Like I said earlier, the tinfoil hats and everything else, because crazy stuff. Wow, indeed. But bottom line, Max Verstappen, congratulations on winning the 2021 World Drivers' Championship. Congratulations to Mercedes for winning the Constructors' Championship. Maybe might have forgotten about that. And everything going on. The least excited...
Eight in a row?
The least excited 8 in a row I've ever seen in my entire life, coming from Mercedes. Obviously, they have bigger fish to fry. Lewis Hamilton is still the greatest of all time, regardless. Obviously, did he get screwed? Did he not get screwed? Like I said, just like any other sport, don't let the referees decide in extra time. You have, how many soccer matches have you seen that have gone huge, the biggest in the world, World Cup, going down to penalty kicks? You don't let that happen. If you're the best in the world for that season, you don't let that happen. You win by a wide margin. You win what we call going away. Agree or not agree, but I think you need to win going away to be the champion. Max Verstappen was just as good as him for, like I said, 1,381 laps this season. It took one more lap and a little better tires. Going back to what we talked about last show with Q2 and Max's flat tire, or flat spot in his tire, becoming a huge turning point in the entire season. Whew. Yeah, and not sleeping the last 2 days because of just the mania going on. But the tabloids are having a field day. They're selling a lot of papers. Everyone in the world that I have spoken to, or anywhere that have messaged or online from every corner of the universe, woke up and has an opinion on this. So there's my opinion. I believe Lewis definitely came in second, obviously. He didn't win the championship. Do I believe what happened was fair at the end? Obviously, we talked about the overtakes or the lapped cars that ended up a little kerfuffle there, a little confusion. Not much you're able to do, though. You're kind of in a bad spot, and it's kind of a 1 in a million situation. And for the 1 in a million situation to happen at the championship with like 5 laps to go, bizarro. Latifi's been getting tons and tons of hate. I think he even got to the point where he got a little shook as well, because he's just getting a lot of hate online and everywhere else, which probably undeserved, although circumstantial. Nobody's saying anything about Mick Schumacher, who kind of put Latifi
I've seen a couple things,
but not as much as Latifi. And Schumacher has a lot familially, but it's all coincidence. Nothing was intentional. I could not imagine a situation where Nicholas Latifi, and I think we've all heard interviews with him, he seems like one of the really classy guys. He's not wrecking a car out to be in that situation. You wouldn't even know it was in that situation. And if it was that situation,
battling.
Lewis would have won anyway, because they would have finished it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. The floor is yours, sir.
I mean, him and Schumacher were battling. It happens. It's a racing incident. They're battling. They bumped, and he ends up in the wall. I mean, FIA dropped the ball completely. So that's one. Just throw the red flag, bring everybody in, let him shoot it out for 3 laps. Simple. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's all he had to do. It's all he had to do. All he had to do. Besides setting up the, madness of, violating their own rules, letting lap cars pass without letting them come back around to rejoin the end, the back of the field, which is a violation of a safety rule.
That was just ridiculous. And
I mean, that's so the red flag just takes care of that. I mean, they've thrown red flags for other incidents and during the year before, especially on a circuit that's got concrete walls around it. So that was their easy out card, and then you let them race, and you reset the field to position, and you let him go. Mercedes dropped the ball by having 2 opportunities to pit Lewis and not pitting Lewis. So he's on ancient tires at the end, and he, just couldn't hold off brand new soft tires. I mean, they could have done something there because the Mercedes definitely had more pace than the Red Bull did. As you can see, as Lewis just, pulled away a couple times in the race. The racing gods were on Red Bull's side today. Nicholas Latifi's probably going to get a lifetime supply of Red Bull for what happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, he is. He will have wings for life.
He will have wings for life. So there's the FIA's got a lot of shit to work on. Let's just say that. Pardon the French, but they got a lot to do because this was a mess. Whole season, it was an absolute mess. Massey, he might have to be fired. He's too nice of a guy. You need somebody in there with some big cojones, some big yam bags. That's just going to put the foot down. I think you might even have to get rid of the revolving stewards, the different stewards each weekend, and have a set of fit stewards that are every weekend to rule consistently. There's too much wishy-washy calls all season long and letting things go that they should have clamped down, and then they would have had a set base to rule on instead of the, well, we're not going to call it here. We're going to call something here. Just all the rules got to be. If it's in the rule book, you got to call the rules, and you got to stop the not here, not there. We might have to have some set stewards that are there every weekend, just like the other, main F1, the race director and things like that. So I think that's one that has to be changed. Forget the revolving door. If you want to have a revolving door, then have 6. And then 3 one weekend and 3 the next weekend. But there's a group that's always involved, not just different people, different weekends. It's not working. You need to get way more consistent on the rules. I have no real issue with them letting the cars go to get Max behind Lewis and to let him go and race. I mean, this is motorsport. You don't want it to end on a safety car or anything like that. You want to let them end it racing wheel to wheel on the track. You got that. Did they go about it the wrong way? You're gosh darn right they did. Did they lose? Did they probably lose some new fans? Yes.
Yeah, but listen, as I said earlier, it happens in every single sport. There's not a single sport that I've watched where it's been a situation in a big game or a big match or a big situation where the referees, and that's what Michael Massey and the race stewards are here. They're putting in position as referees, have screwed it up at a critical time and blown it.
You blew it.
You blew it. As Adam Sandler once famously said, you blew it. All right? Make those prank calls the right way. Well, call the match the right way, call the game the right way, and call the race the right way. But it happens. Why does it happen? And why does it make it interesting? Because human beings are governing over human beings. And that's it. And that's it. Listen, those of us who, especially in the U.S., who are baseball fans, know for years they talked about, digitizing the strike zone. That's not part of the game. That's not part of the race here either. Stewards and Michael Massey or whoever, whoever's in that position is in charge of it, and they're going to make mistakes. But like I said earlier, if Lewis is up 27 points going into this race, it would not have mattered. So you want to win for the season, be up more than enough points before the last race, and you win like he has so many times before. You're not, and you're in danger of having the opportunity for another human, whether a referee or another driver or anything, to happen, especially when the world is watching and there's massive amounts of cash on the line. All those factor in. Those are massive factors. And don't tell me that they're not factoring in as those guys are sitting out there and they're sitting in the booth. As far as the stewards go, and as far as the race stewards go, I think a lot of sports have been very successful at having a home base of those people there. So if it's a group of 5 or 6 stewards or whatever it might be, that they're in one place, they work together for the entire season. They get to know each other. And it's almost like a court of justice, right? Where these guys are, or men and women are working together, or whoever they might be, are working together throughout the season. And they're off property. They're not at the race. They're not being influenced by anyone at the race. They're off property somewhere else at another location where they can't be influenced, and they can make that call. They can make that call. And it should go to them first, many of these calls, because we've seen that a group of 5 or 6 people is going to be way better than one person making the call under pressure. And the way that Toto Wolff spoke to Michael Massey earlier in that race about the safety car versus the virtual safety car situation, the way he spoke to him, that was a little out of control. I know a lot of people haven't talked about it as much. That is
over the line.
And it shows that if that was played like that, what was going on behind the scenes? What were those conversations where Toto's in charge? And that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You need an impartial team off property that can't be communicated from any garage, from anyone.
Well, the stewards,
these teams should be communicating.
The stewards do not have communication with any of the teams or any of the drivers or anything. The stewards only have communication with race control.
Correct.
I think that being at the track is fine. I think you need a standard group that is there every weekend, not the different stewards for different weekends. That just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, listen, I know it's tough.
That's 100% right.
NFL's had that problem for years. National Football League's had that problem for years.
Yeah, you need to have referees, and that's basically stewards like a referee in racing. So you need a set of those guys that are just going to be there every weekend that are going to be consistent. To make this, same calls each weekend, and not maybe, this call this weekend and this one not this weekend. I think a lot of calls this weekend went along the way of putting on a show more than following the rules or keeping the show going. That's what I think a lot of the rulings were. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like they were trying to keep the show going instead of following the rules as is laid out. So the FAA's got a lot of teams are doing a lot of work. The FAA's got a lot of work to do.
Everyone's got a lot of work to do after this one, and to save a lot of the face of the sport, especially for those newer fans. And we talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but F1 is one of the few sports in the world that has geared younger over the last 5 years. I believe average age of viewer in Formula One is about 32, down from 37. Compare that with English soccer or American football, which is mid 40s. 45 to 48 average age, so significantly younger. How long are those young fans going to stick around for when they can easily watch esport racing, get the same kick out of it, and not have to worry about F1? They seem to enjoy that more anyway. If they feel like they're getting sold a bad product. But listen, I think it's way too early. I think people talk crap very, very early here. I think people say things that they shouldn't be saying, or thinking things that they probably will regret later. And I believe that the ratings will be the same as this year. They may not have gained ground. They may end up stagnant after a great year instead of gaining ground after that. But it's a great learning experience. If they do lose numbers, that's really the only thing that they're going to listen to. If the ratings go down and if money goes down, that's the only thing they're going to listen to. In fairness, we know We've been around long enough
that's spot on. That's spot on.
If the ratings go up, all this thing about changing stewards and teams and the way to do business, that's all nonsense. It's frankly, it's crap. It's crap. It's la merde. Pardon my French.
Dollar bill, son.
So that's all I got to say.
Cash
anyway,
money.
We have a lot more to talk about. We still have winners and losers. We got those two. And I think half of F1 is going to slap themselves, but I think it's only going to be one person. Maybe more. Could be half of F1. Could be the whole FIA. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. We're back after this. Yes. It's Monday. We're talking about Sunday. We needed the extra time, my friends, because it was intense as it gets. The world is talking about it. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, but overall, Max Verstappen is the 2021 Formula One champion of the world. It's crazy in Holland. Seen the parties going all night into the morning. They're going to pass out for a couple days. And we're 95 days away from FP1. So put that on the calendar. So we'll be back, of course, in 2022 for season 2.
What are you talking about? There's testing Tuesday and Wednesday for next year's tires.
Yeah, but it's when it gets real. No one cares about testing. You care about testing.
We got stuff. There's still stuff going on.
There's still stuff going on. You still got 95 days away.
You know, you're gonna have preseason testing too, sir. You're gonna have preseason testing too.
You're 95 days from free practice 1. And that's when you're going to find out what's going on for 2022 season. So we have to wait. We're going to wait. We got some new tires or bigger rims. 18 inches is kind of cringily advertised for over the weekend. I had a little problem with that, but I digress.
Low profile.
But we'll see. And it's not going to look any different, I don't think, for the average viewer. As far as the tires are concerned. But we will see. It really has been an absolutely fantastic season. And one more time, we got winners, we got losers. And Cheese, I don't know if you have enough baby powder in all of the Middle East to send over to Abu Dhabi. Because someone's going to slap themselves in the face. But first, before we get to all of that, once again, hit us up on Twitter in the Paddock USA. Hit us up on email in the paddockusa@gmail.com. And of course, like we said, we've been renewed for a second season. So we will be back. And we'll be bringing you all kinds of stuff during the offseason as well. So stick around. We got 3 months between the seasons here, but we'll have lots and lots of goodies. We're going to be broadcasting definitely some of these changes that are made, anything that happens as well, any kind of rule changes or anything major that happens, we will be here to bring it to you. So stick around all off season long before we get to our season 2. And before that, one last time, we got winners, we got losers. I like going with the winners first. It should just be tradition that we go with the winners first. So it's on you, sir.
All right. First winner, Ferrari. That's right. Podium finish, last race of the year. Carlos driving like an absolute animal. Seals up third in the constructors. That big old cash pile of money. Help develop next year's car. Ferrari, absolute huge winners. And Alpine taking 5th over AlphaTauri. Super impressive. Did not see that. I thought that car has developed pretty damn well over the season. That thing was absolute rubbish early in the season. absolute rubbish. And they've really improved that car. Big drives down in the second half. Alpine taking 5th. Lewis Hamilton is also a winner for showing some class. Even though that man's soul was ripped the heck out, he still came out, did the interviews, shook Max's hand more than Toto Wolff did, coming out to shake anybody's hand. His father even went over and shook Max's hand and Max's father's hand as Max's father gave him a hug.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Classy people right there. They're absolute winners, showing their absolute class. That's who I got. Who you got, sir?
You know, as far as winners are concerned, first and foremost, it took you 24 minutes, 25 plus minutes into the program to mention Ferrari when Ferrari makes podium. That has to be, we got to call Guinness Book because that's got to go in there. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you got a Ferrari fan. They make podium, and you don't get it to a 25 minutes in. That's pretty damn impressive. That is self-restraint in class right there, sir. So not as much as Lewis Hamilton had doing those interviews, being a first-class guy, and still waking up this morning and still being the greatest of all time. Very arguably, but in the argument of the greatest of all time. So, and Max isn't. So, at least not yet. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda. Hello. Fourth? Where did that come from? You look up at the board, you're like, fourth place. Just off podium. Unbelievable. Congratulations to him. You want to be like pancakes, or you actually don't want to be like pancakes, as we say during the season. All exciting at first, and at the end, you're just sick of them. You strong opening, disastrous middle of the season, and strong finish. So he'll be remembered, maybe not for as many red flags this year, but maybe more so for that fourth place finish today as he finishes up his rookie season.
People have a short memory, sir.
How about Pierre Gasly? How about Pierre coming fifth? So, Yuki and Pierre piggybacking each other for fourth and fifth. It's impressive, especially Pierre qualifying in 12th to start. So great job by both those drivers to finish off the season. Pierre's had an up and down season, a lot of ups this year, so they have definitely some downs in the middle of the season. He finished quite strong as well. Also, a note, first time ever in F1 history, 9 drivers with 100 plus points on the season. Obviously, the new point system, over the last decade or so, kind of limits how far you can go back with that one. But 9 different drivers, 100 plus points on the season. So great season in that regard. A lot of parity, a lot more than we've seen in previous years. Especially with so top heavy, almost 800 points to the top 2 drivers. So the fact that trickled down that much across the board, and a lot of drivers had a lot of opportunities this season, really made for a great F1 season. So those are my winners. Got plenty of losers, though. So without further ado, one last time for 2021, your losers, sir.
Oh, I got some for you. McLaren. Looked like early in the season they were going to have that third sewed up, or so you thought. Talking trash on my red cars, but it looks like that orange car turned out to be a little bit of the trash.
I didn't talk trash. I talked a lot of trash. Deservedly so. But like I said a couple weeks ago, from 2019 to now, the progress that Ferrari has made has been unbelievable. But continue. I apologize.
So McLaren, just an awful second half. 4th place, losing out in that big cash pile. And you were talking them up there. They're drivers. But AlphaTauri as a whole, they're a loser. Losing out to Alpine. A little bit too late to have these, double top 10 finish. They needed them the last few races. Didn't get them. A little too late. AlphaTauri, you're a loser. Coming in 6th in the Constructors.
It's not this race, though. That's overall. I'm talking about this specific race. You want to break it down.
Yeah, they're still. You know what? They've been winners and losers for the last number of weeks because of where they were in that fight. So they are losers today because they lost that fight. You're a loser.
Picked up a lot of
Missed
points.
out. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash you just missed out on. So you're a loser. You missed out on a buttload of cash. Formula One is a loser for losing Kimi Räikkönen. For losing Kimi Räikkönen. For losing that's not where I was going with that, but for losing Kimi Räikkönen. And the man's brakes fail in his final race. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Not the way you wanted to see a driver go out. And those are my losers. Who you got, sir?
This is a tough one. And this is a tough one to say, too, because I think we have the exact opposite of our winners and losers for our own teams. But Haas. I mean,
no points.
Besides no points for the season. Better luck next year. Besides no points for the entire season. Couldn't even put 2 drivers out this weekend. I know Nikita had, is that twice with COVID this year?
Yes, I do believe so.
I mean, come on. You kidding me?
Yeah, I'm surprised they couldn't get the reserve driver in there or something.
They didn't even have a driver. They didn't even have a backup driver. So it's not like every other team doesn't have a reserve driver. Couldn't put anyone out there. Where's Robert Kubica when you need him? So no driver, no second driver. Put Mick out there all alone. I'm not going to give Mick any winner this week because, he did come 14th this week. Probably is one of his best finishes of the year. Still not even close to points. Haas is.
What are you talking about? Mick took out Latifi so his father wouldn't lose his.
This is tinfoil hat. Tinfoil hat alert. Tinfoil hat alert.
I had to get that in there for you. Tinfoil hat alert. I like
tinfoil
that.
Hat alert. And yeah, definitely. My other loser this week is Valtteri Bottas. I don't know what the hell happened to him this weekend, but judging by the fact that his team was in there trying to file a lawsuit after the race, and he was in there jumping into the pool in his clothes, shows that Valtteri Bottas does not give a flying F about his now former team. As he moves on,
he'll be in the Alpha on Tuesday.
Yeah, so he is going to be in the Alpha after taking a swim. That's the way to walk off a job on the last day, man. That's the way to walk off a job on the last day. But still, kind of a loser. Kind of a loser there. I know he. I think he could have been more classy.
That was a bad weekend. That was a bad weekend.
Yeah, and a bad weekend. So bad weekend.
Gave his teammate no support.
Yeah, and a little bit of sourness there. So I don't know. Maybe there was something said on the radio, but it was weird. It was weird. So put it on Valtteri Bottas, who 101 races with Mercedes, 101 times he made it to Q3. So got to give it up for him for that. But the weekend was just a real disaster for him, and definitely not going out on your best foot with Mercedes. And that, my friends, is my losers, which only leaves one more award for 2021, or weekly award at least. I think there might be some annual awards coming up on our annual show. And before we get to that, don't forget we will be back before Christmas with one final, or at least before New Year's, with one final season-ending wrap-up extravaganza. So make sure to look out for that show, as well as a lot of preseason shows coming up in 2022. And without further ado, someone is going to slap themselves.
I need to slap my goddamn self for that.
Well, we're going to need a lot of baby powder for this one here. And the ones that get them to get out that powder them hands up really good. I mean, like, really good. Maybe get a couple drops of sand in there to make it sting a little bit extra. But it's all of F1. Massey, everybody in F1. It was an absolutely horrid performance all year, really. Just absolutely poor. So get out that powder and slap yourselves in the face as hard as you can. As hard as you can. Just get up there. Just whack.
It's got to come out right if you want to get paid tonight. That's for damn sure. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, everybody slapped themselves. That is a sea of white smoke. Like during the season, and something that we didn't talk about at all, but really the lack of these end of the race or beginning of the race smoke bombs, which kind of went away really after the summer was over there. But I guess one's going to emerge.
Because they left Europe.
Still,
you ain't doing that. You ain't doing that stuff in some foreign country, getting locked up.
Yeah, they could have done it in the U.S. I don't think I saw it in the U.S. They didn't do it in Mexico.
Oh, they were definitely chucking them. Yes, Mexico. Yes, they were definitely putting them off there for Sergio. Oh yeah, they were setting them off there at the end of the race. Oh yeah,
we definitely didn't see them in the more authoritarian countries. The apparently, according to you, safer countries. Unlike Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which I had on my list of safest cities in America, at least. But I guess I was.
Yeah, not with as many murders have been in that city all year.
Obviously, these are jokes. Anyone who's been to Philadelphia, no love lost for Philly, though. So yeah, we have one final segment to go for our race season before we get to our big final show of the year. Once again, hit us up on Twitter in the Paddock USA, Gmail in the Paddock USA, gmail.com. Email your questions. Tell us, maybe I can pick a different team next year. I don't know. Change my allegiance. Give me some suggestions. Tell us how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you guys. And of course, follow us for all the updates and news throughout the offseason and into 2022. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. We'll be back after this.
Yes, we're back in the Paddock F1. Greeny and the Cheese. Yes, it's the part when I don't want to hear Greeny cry. I did not know that was going to play. That's pretty gosh darn funny, I got to say. Yes, we're back.
Oh, yes.
To everybody's favorite segment. Are we cashing in? Or are we checking out?
Just feel it, man. Just feel it.
Well, I ain't doing no crying. That's for darn sure.
All right. I did all my crying already. First of all, before we get to our final segment, which will be Life in the Fast Lane, which I'm going to nail you with 10 questions in 3 minutes, which you usually answer fantastically. But before we get to that, absolutely shocking end to the cashing in or checking out segment for the year. Shocking. I couldn't believe it myself when I looked at the final numbers. I went through the whole season to make sure my numbers were correct, and they were. The numbers I'm going to give you are legit and real, once again, for those of you who are new to the show. Both Cheese and I started with 1,000 Greeny bucks at the beginning of the season. Actually, we started with dollars and cents at the beginning of the season, but we both agreed that in the interest of gambling addictions worldwide, we should go with a fake amount of money from the land of Greentopia, which doesn't exist, so don't book your plane tickets there. Greeny bucks. So we each got 1,000. And the way it ended was shocking. Not as shocking, maybe almost as shocking as the end to the F1 season, actually. All right. Any guess what your final number was for the season, Cheese? Started with 1,000. Any guess what the final number was?
I don't know. The goal was 2,000. That was the goal.
Ding, ding, ding. You ended with exactly 2,000 Greeny bucks. All right, to recap, you had Max as the winner of the day, which got you well over 2,000, but then you picked Fernando Alonso as biggest gainer, and he didn't get that. That went to Pierre Gasly, 12th to 5th. And the trifecta, Max, Hamilton, and Lando Norris, who did not come in third. That would be your boy, Carlos Sainz, coming in third. So that did not hit. So instead of having well over 2,000, you ended up with exactly 2,000. You took 1,000 and doubled it. So
that's how you do it, son.
I, on the other hand, I had Hamilton for the win, which I should have been yelling like Toto Wolff was yelling. I had Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez as my trifecta. I knew my season was just in complete tatters when Perez DNF'd, even after that mighty battle at lap 20 early in the race to at least buy Max a potential chance to win, or at least come back. And my biggest gainer was Kimi Räikkönen, who also DNF'd. So 2 of the 3 drivers I picked today DNF'd. So that pretty much sums up my season. Can you guess, Cheese, how many Greeny bucks I ended up with at the end of the season?
0.
That is correct, sir. That is correct, sir.
Big fat can of nope. Crack that bad boy open.
It's not what I was hoping for. So we started cumulatively with 2,000 Greeny bucks. And like a game of Risk, I have no soldiers and you have all of them. So
sounds about right.
Not make that up. Well, I could have made that up, but I didn't make that up. That is legit. You have 2,000 and I have 0. So that is the end of the first season. I potentially for the holiday spectacular, I will have an opportunity to maybe set where we're going to be for next year and what our gambling fund is going to be like for next season. But for this season, I would say it was a good season and fun, but it was pretty miserable for me and very fun for you. So at least one of us.
I enjoyed myself thoroughly, sir. Doubling up that cash. Doubling up.
Doubling
up.
Called it like Babe Ruth calling a home run to left field. Said you were going to get 2,000, you got 2,000. I mean, that is shocking. Shocking. Because not too long ago, you were at like not even 1,100.
Well, I hit a bunch of hits. What I hit 2 trifectas out of the last like 6-7 races.
Yeah, something like that.
Big money. Pretty huge.
Yeah, no, you just kept consistently winning. Even when you didn't hit the trifectas, you would hit at least 2. You would hit a lot of the biggest gainers this year, as well as a lot of winners this year. So, very, very impressive, sir. So next season, just place your bet whenever Cheese tells you to place your bet on. I would. Although I'm not gonna copy you because that would be ridiculous. But if you're listening at home, just do whatever this guy does. Which brings us finally to the final segment of the year. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Where's my music?
Where's my music? One last time. Life in the fast lane. And there it is. Go. Does Yuki's finish make up for a poor season from Yuki Tsunoda.
No, the overall product was not good. Next.
FIA race stewards are talking about expanding for 2022. Are you sending in your resume?
Yeah, I think so. Next.
Next. Mercedes is personally asking people online for their email address to help take down videos of Toto Wolff losing his mind after the race. Insanity for Mercedes?
Oh, it's absolute insanity for Mercedes. That's absolutely ridiculous. Toto was on TV. He did those faces himself. Deal with it. Next.
Seb wins the first ever overtake award of the season. What does he ask for? 1 million jelly beans. You giving that man 1 million jelly beans?
I ain't fitting the bill for it. You can. Next.
Kimi gets driver of the day. Was Carlos Sainz also robbed on Sunday?
Oh, they gave it to the man. His last race. I mean, I got no problem with it. Next.
Bottas takes a swim as Lewis and Toto protest to the FIA. Hilarious or completely unprofessional?
I think it's hilarious. Next.
Oscar Piastri dominates F2 this season, but has no seat in 2022 F1. How you feeling about his reserve Alpine position next year?
I think it's pretty weak. I think he should have been able to. I think he should have got the Alpha ride, to be honest. Yeah, 100%, or even kicking Mazepin out and putting him there. That's a lot better. Next.
Leclerc loses 6th for the season by 1 point. 1 point. Was it a disastrous lap 58 there that screwed him as well?
Maybe, but that's not what it's about there for the drive. It was about getting the Ferrari third in the constructors. There was no real point for the drivers. That doesn't really matter. Next.
Fernando Alonso finishes 10th on the season? Are you kidding me? Fernando Alonso. Has this been a legendary season for him as well?
The man is a legend, so just keeps proving why he's a legend. Just absolutely ridiculous season from the old man. Next.
Lewis Hamilton leads Mercedes into dropping the protest, saying he does not want to win the championship in the courtroom. Lewis Hamilton going on the Mount Rushmore of class?
Yeah, I brought it up earlier. The man is a classy individual. Absolute classy individual, and what a legend does. Next.
And that is
it? Well, there it is.
You saved it once again, sir. Got your 10 questions in under 3 minutes. Very well paced. You did not see the clock either. You never see the clock. Just as those of you at home, he does not see the clock. He just knows what 3 minutes is. Like a madman. Once again, Cheese, it has been an absolute pleasure working with you this season, putting together this absolutely fantastic podcast. We literally have started with absolutely nothing.
Pleasure working with you too, as always, sir.
No sponsorship, no push, no anything. We just did this absolutely organically. And we've had an amazing, amazing response all throughout the season, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. We're hoping for a even better 2022 season as we actually get to start off with a fan base going into next season instead of just who the hell are these guys. So thank you so much. All around the world, people are listening, especially those in the UK. So many people in Europe and overseas. Really was a show for the United States fans, but we've gotten love from all around the world. Every continent outside of Antarctica has checked in. Again, overwhelming, as we say every single week. Final thoughts on this 2021 season, Cheese.
One of the best seasons I've ever seen. Not happy that it ended with a little controversy, but they did at least end it on the track, battle and wheel to wheel. But it's probably one of the best Formula One seasons I've ever seen. Going down to the absolute wire. And this display was just epic. 22 races. We'll see what next year brings. New regs, new cars. A lot of unknowns. The champions actually gonna defending champions gonna have number 1 on the car. Haven't had that in a while. Haven't seen that in a while, so that's gonna be fun. Can Max and Lewis do it again next year? Will somebody else put up a challenge? Can Mercedes win 9 constructors in a row?
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Can Ferrari win a title next year?
I'd lose my mind, but as always, we always hope. We can wish in one hand and you can crap in another and see which one fills up first.
Thank you. Thank you, Mick.
Where's the wisdom, sir? Where's the wisdom?
Got Mickey or Yoda, 2 wise men. Listen, if you're gonna get a quote from anyone, those are 2 guys to go to. Yeah, again, absolutely amazing season, both in here and on the racetrack. It ended classy.
Thank you for all of the listens to all the fans. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. We could not do without you. It would just be Cheese and I talking to nobody, which would be it'd be pretty miserable. So I'm glad we have fans who are listening. And so sorry again for the late post here, but figured took a day or so to get our heads wrapped around what happened. So much happened that pick us off the floor for a little bit, and really wanted to come up with an honest show for this week. I think there's a lot going on, a lot of tabloid and tinfoil hat type of stuff. We wanted to avoid that and give you guys an honest show for the final show of the year. So that's what we did as the dust settles. And join us in the off season, but of course, more importantly, we got Bahrain. What's our next race?
Bahrain,
March of 2022. We're 3 months away.
We got one more show.
We got one more show. With the race season.
The Christmas New Year spectacular. But the race season is over.
The race season is over.
Thank
you all of us.
One more review show.
For joining us all season long. Still pinching ourselves. And see you guys soon. Join us 2 weeks.
Stay medicated, my friends. Stay medicated. Peace.
Peace.